It was an effort. There was a beauty. There was an art form about making mixtapes.
My earliest thing I probably put on a tape was the Chipmunks' Christmas, the hula hoop song.
I can't, man, my memory is so bad, to be honest.
I remember going on vacation with friends of mine in France and playing a mixtape with a lot of Nirvana's Incesticide, which had just come out. And they were like, "C'est cool. Nirvana, c'est super cool."
I had a little boombox. It was a CD player with a tape player. A lot of the mixtapes that I did were, you know, taping off a CD.
CDs were available at the time, but you couldn't really, it was before you could burn your own kind of CD.
This was before, obviously, you know, you could go online and find one song and grab that one song. So you'd have mountains, these pillars of CDs.
Back then, you would buy either a tape or a CD, and you like one song to get them all in the same place and hear them consecutively. It was the only way to do it.
Kind of like the playlist, the modern playlist is now.
I would record the vinyls onto tape.
Taping off the radio, listening for the song, and hoping they would play it.
I have songs where, like, I come in late, because, you know, you wait and you have to go to the bathroom, and then you hear it playing and you have to run back.
I remember this is probably the first song I ever taped off the radio. Hippie Chick by Soho, do you remember that song? It's hard to tell you how you feel.
Was it Wham, Careless Whisper? I think that's Wham. It was my mom's favorite song, and I just remember I was trying to record it for her.
Pearl Jam came out with Vitalogy, and Better Man was a single. I have a vivid memory of catching Better Man on a tape and being very excited about that.
Like, we were like alchemists. We were in our bedroom, and like, that was our laboratory. And like, the CDs and records were like our test tubes. We would kind of surprise each other in making not listening back to the mixtape, but while we were making the mixtape. And we'd be like, yo, check out this next song I'm gonna put. Be like, and you'd have to listen to the song as it was recording onto the tape.
I remember making mixtapes and having to be really precise about, you know, how you write the songs, and I'd have to get a good pen. You know, you can't just do it with a Bic pen. You got to get, like, the right pen to do it.
You'd want to draw on it. That would be like your cover, you know?
And I always felt like they didn't give you enough space. You couldn't always fit it there. Sometimes you had to just leave, like, a little ... But then, sure enough, by the time you got to the end of it, like, you would smudge the ink somehow, and it's like, man, I this thing up.
As a kid, I mean, you know, you go through that teen angst, you know, everything sucks and you're so depressed and you have your Walkman and...
You have your headphones on. At the time, it wasn't even like earbuds. I had crazy big headphones, you know, that was the thing. You had to have some big-ass headphones at the time.
I remember those big yellow Walkman. You remember those sport Walkman?
I actually had the yellow one, kind of water resistant.
And they would click, and I thought that was just like the pinnacle of technology. It's like, oh my God, that shit clicks. That is fantastic.
I grew up in LA, so the car was where you did everything. A lot of times you were in someone else's car and they'd put on a bad radio station, or they just like, you know, music that you don't like, and so you have a tape so you can, let's just play this.
I'd get sick of whatever tape, whatever mixtape it was, and me and my sisters would break it open and throw the tapes off our balcony, like hold on to one end of it and just watch it spool out and then land on the floor. And we would do that with lots of tapes, man. Just keep on throwing it off our balcony until people started complaining. It's a highlight of my childhood.
Yeah, man, this is the worst. You spend so many hours and then this happens. And you can fix it, but then, you know, then once in a while the tape will break and then you're kind of screwed.
I start with Poison, Fallen Angel.
The first song was Frank Sinatra, My Way, Talk Show Host by Radiohead.
Cult of Personality by Living Colour. It's one of my favorite jams back then.
AC/DC, Let There Be Rock. That was a rocker.
Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood.
Def Leppard, Skid Row, Bon Jovi.
Just a lot of Jane's Addiction. I was a huge fan.
I made a mixtape to take on the road for us when we drove to Chicago once that had Richard Pryor and Built to Spill, and it would just switch.
I mean, there'd be random songs that I'd like, you know, like there was some Guns N' Roses that I like.
Anything off of Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
Early U2 from the album War.
Like Warrant, Heaven Isn't Too Far Away.
Tesla, Signs.
A lot of Bob Marley, you know, when you're in your teens, that's kind of when you discover that whole thing.
Aerosmith. I actually learned about the Beatles through Aerosmith. back then.
I don't know if I loved Ice Ice Baby, but it was always playing, so...
Stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance.
You know what? Bon Jovi, he was able to take a really, like, Italian name, Bon Giovanni, I think it was, and split it up into a cool band name. When we associated with that, we tried to do it with our name, and it failed miserably. We were like, more Eddie. And because it's like more of Eddie.
I put in a tape. I guess I forgot to finish it when I got halfway through. It was just hiss, but I don't think we noticed it at first. It was just our world changed.
Just like really, really loud with that tape hiss. Just blasted that in the room.
Everything just got calm and beautiful.
The patterns on the carpet start moving around.
It was amazing, and then when it stopped, it was shocking. It just kind of like if you were in space and you just fell.
So we'd flip the tape over and just play it again, and just the whole trip listened to tape hiss.
We kind of grew up together 3 blocks away from each other, so, you know, usually we'd take the 6 train down to Astor Place.
They had a lot of like bootlegs. That was like a pretty huge thing.
Mixtapes were almost currency to us. It was like, I'll give you this for this.
Check out this new song, check out this song that's a B-side on something that you can't get, you know, that's in a European import.
After that Guns N' Roses phase, you know, Nirvana came out, Pearl Jam came out.
I guess they called it grunge.
Nikolai had a warbly version of Yell Ledbetter. That was the song that kind of, I don't know, tapped into something in my mind that got me going on the path towards, you know, I guess becoming a serious musician.
The Strokes, you know, me and Fab, Julian, all of us, getting into those bands together and listening to that stuff together helped us really forge.
Probably MGMT,
The new MGMT record.
Grizzly Bear, a band called Crystal Castles.
You know, something long, like Moonlight Sonata or something.
2 Arctic Monkey songs. One's called Despair in the Departure Lounge, and Marty Bum. Those British people. Marty Bum.
Happiness is a Warm Gun. I think that song is one of the best songs ever written.
Radiohead, their last album was great.
A lot of Beatles stuff. Beach Boys, The Velvet Underground, Talking Heads.
Sam Cooke, Change is Gonna Come.
Turandot by Puccini. Dum 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 dum. That song always gives me chills. Dum 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 dum.
Recording something, even making a mixtape of it, is taking a picture of that moment in time.
I think that people really love music, and people just want to appreciate music in whatever way technology allows them to appreciate it.
In the process of making it, you'd hear it I don't know how many times.
It allowed you to have a more intimate association with the music and the musicians, too.
You listen to that shit, man, over and over and over again.
Time capsule, final answer.